Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Bat League video. Ladies and gents, we are back today in the Open Great League. That means no more Vigoroof, that means no more RP, wait, what? There's a Vigoroof in the Open Great League? What is going on? It's not the Holiday Cup anymore, just let it go. Just let the Vigoroof go. Anyway guys, it's been a while since Great League's been out, and I thought, you know, I don't really know what to run. The last team that was pretty successful for me, I'll actually upload it again probably tomorrow, was the Sableye Azu team. But I had a look on Pvpoke today, and the number one ranked team is this, Credilli, Poliwrath, Skeledirge. Now basically we have a Pokemon on the front that beats Lantern and the water types, of course Azu being one of them. Azu is quite a close match with Credilli because it does no Ice Beam, but you do outpace it. We have buff Poliwrath with buff Skull, buff Icy Wind, to basically draw out any Lanterns. You could make the argument that you could go for Dynamic Punch, and that would basically take out the Lantern on the swap, but I do like Scald, it's such a good move. And it actually allows you to put in a lot of work, as you can see in this matchup against Azu, and even things like Jellicent are not completely horrible for this. Now we come back in with our Credilli against the Azumarill, and we're basically looking to sweep with Skeledirge. Now the opponent comes into a Dragonair, a little bit awkward. If you guys played Open Great League today, around the 2450 range, close to Veteran, I seen so many Dragonairs today, I seen probably 10 of them, which is a little bit awkward for this team. Skeledirge can hit it with super effective moves, of course they can hit you with super effective moves as well, and they do outpace you, which is kind of awkward. Of course Credilli can more or less one-shot it with Rock Slide, and Poliwrath can one-shot it with Icy Wind, so it is manageable, but if you get this Pokemon in the wrong place on the team, it's kind of awkward. Now we're going to go for the Rock Slide. This will definitely one-shot the Dragonair from here. Now the question is guys, as you left, did they leave dry? Did they have energy? Can we outpace them to the move? We do 4 moves and throw the Grass Knot, and we do manage to take it out, so good games well played in that first one. A pretty decent lead, but Dragonair, again, super awkward for the team. Anyway guys, this is the number 1 ranked team in Pvpoke, and I actually quite liked it. I was going very, very positive with it. And unfortunately, I did start going a little bit negative later on, because I started seeing some really awkward core breakers. If you want to run this team, things like Gligar can be quite awkward for it, because as you can imagine, it beats Skeledirge, it does quite well against Poly, and does quite well against Credilli, so a bit awkward. And in general, Dragonair was quite awkward. I decided to commit to the farm down here, and we come out with an Icy Wind. The opponent led, I believe, the Skarmory in this match, so we've seen a Dragon Safe swap, and we're going to see what's in the back. The opponent comes into a Wisdaddy Cash, to a loaded Poly, knowing that I've got Credilli in the front, they probably don't want to mess around with it too much. We get off another Icy Wind, and the opponent's just in an absolute shambles. Skeledirge just absolutely toasts Skarmory, and here it comes. We're going to start incinerating this thing down. Now all I really need to do, shield up once, farm it the whole way down. The opponent's super, super low. They go for the Brave Bird here, of course, which gives us less farm. But basically we can just go for a swap here, because the opponent has a move. I win CMP, but I'm not going to give the opponent the satisfaction of CMPing my Skeledirge and taking it out. We're going to Bullet Seed it the whole way down, and that's good games well played. So yeah, the team works really nicely. Like I said, a few core breakers here and there, but I do like it. Now, a very interesting match here. We have a Poliwrath in the lead. Now, what we're going to like to do is go straight for the move before they get the Icy Wind off. This is debatable, but I did want to get the shield straight away. Now, the opponent can go for another Icy Wind. I think I'm going to shield and try to get 2 shields off the opponent here. The opponent will strike first here. Actually, we do get off the move first, so this is perfect. I think at this point, I'm pretty much happy to let my Credilli go. The opponent counters us the whole way down. We're going to come into our Poliwrath to basically absorb the energy and hopefully sweep with the Skeledirge. I'm thinking because it's a Poliwrath in the lead, the chances are it probably doesn't have a Lantern in the back, otherwise it would be ABA weak to grass. However, in the Great League, you just never know what you're going to see. The Open Great League is 10 times better than Holiday Cup, but you will still see some really dumb teams here and there. We take out the Poly and we just insta-swap. In comes the... Yo, goodbye. See you. In comes Whimsicott. In comes Sandslash. We're toasting that Hedgehog, putting it on a stick and eating it for breakfast. The Crocodile does not mess around with this thing. And in comes Stunfisk. By the way, guys, a lot of you guys have been subbing recently. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. If you want to help support the channel, guys, drop a like on all these videos, man. It really does help out a ton. And subscribe, of course, if you want to see more videos. Also, guys, we have memberships on the channel if you do want to go that extra step to support the channel. It's a YouTube membership. I think they start from $3. You don't really get a lot. I do coaching and stuff in Discord if you want to do that, but it is more to support the channel. So if you decide to do so, thank you very much. And otherwise, guys, just liking the videos, commenting, and of course subscribing. That's the most important thing. But big thank you. And I do want to take a quick minute to say a big thank you to everybody. We've got 2 days to Christmas, so happy Christmas if I don't see us before then. I will try to upload tomorrow. I'm actually working on Christmas Day. I live in Japan here, guys, and I teach English. Unfortunately, they don't give a shit about English in Japan, so they've got me scheduled in for Christmas Day. Now, very interesting lead here. Defense Deoxys, another bit of a core breaker for this team. This is the first time I'm facing this, so I decide, okay, Defense Deoxys lead, what do they have in the back? Most likely, some sort of a normal type, like a Lickitung. Some other things that are weak to counter. Generally, it's Deoxys as the answer to Medi. and 2 things that are weak to counter in the back. I decide that I'm going to let Poliwrath sweep the back line. The opponents let 2 moves go, and they're going to go for a Psycho Boost. I'm actually going to come straight into my Poliwrath, and the opponent comes, bro, another fucking Vigoroth. Just get it out of my face. Nobody likes Vigoroth. Nobody likes it. Nerf this Pokemon. It's not even overpowered, it's just annoying. just nerf it so I don't have to see it. Alright, Michael Starenka, if you're watching, just nerf it so I don't have to see it. Honestly, a very nice catch here, by the way. We catch the Body Slam on the Skelly. I'm thinking, yeah, we need to hold on to Poly. It's usually something that's weak to counter in the back. Vigoroth on this team is here to basically beat the Lickitungs, and it's also here to draw out any potential like Poliwraths, Medichams, whatever, right? Because Vigoroth can spam Body Slams, get off a lot of damage. It's a very, very strong Pokemon. And it's sort of funny, here comes Guzzlord, so another Pokemon that is weak to counter, of course. It's also weak to Disarming Voice, so we're in a very good position here. The opponent goes for the catch on DD. I'm actually really happy they go for this catch, because it means I don't have to worry about the catch later. My Poly's home free. Basically, we've got a shield, go straight for the Icy Wind on bad timing, just to get it straight off, debuff the opponent's attack, and yeah, we can just basically look to more or less counter it down from here. But yeah, from what I've seen today, I'm seeing a lot of trends carrying over from the Retro Cup and the Holiday Cup. I'm seeing a lot of Poliwraths. People realized, yeah, Poliwrath is actually really good in the Retro Cup. I think people really learned how good that Pokemon was, right? Seeing a ton of Dragonairs, of course, which were everywhere in the last couple of metas, and Dragon Breath users in general. So I'm seeing a lot of things leaking over into the Great League meta, and of course, I'm using Skeledirge, which, in my personal opinion, funny enough, I was watching his Ionix video yesterday. It was absolutely cooking in Master League, and one of the things that he was asking about in the video was, is Skeledirge the new Swampert, where it's like the go-to easy accessible starter Pokemon in every league? I genuinely do think it is. It's such a strong Pokemon all across the board. Fairy coverage, Shadow Ball, just an amazing Pokemon. After the Calm Day, they will most likely give it Blast Burn. I'm not using Blast Burn on Skelly. I think Shadow Ball and Disarming Voice is too good to give up. The opponent leads a Skarmory and they come into a Dragonite, which is quite interesting. So they've already got ABA Flyer. Again, this is another trend that was carried over from some of the recent limited metas, right? Skarmory lead, Flying Dragon in the back. He puts down all their shields, and I realize, okay, they're probably going to come back in with Skarmory for the farm down, or they might have another dragon in Dragonair. Now guys, this is looking kind of rough, right? The opponent's going to get to the move before me. Surely an Aquatail's going to KO this glassy Skeledirge. We do live it on 1 HP and get off the move, which is pretty huge. That one Dragon Breath went through and did not KO us. We're on 1 HP now, and back in comes the Skarmory. So basically here, this is still a little bit awkward. The opponent did further move pretty quickly before, so we do outpace it to the Rock Slide. Fortunately enough, I think one more Wing Attack, or sorry, Steel Wing, would have allowed the opponent to probably get to the Brave Bird. Anyway, hopping into the next one, we have a Trevenant. This is a very awkward lead. Again, another Core Breaker. As you're seeing, I'm seeing a lot of bad teams here. This is more towards the end of the battles. I started off 4-1 and 3-2, and I think I had a couple of like 2-3s and things. So like this team worked pretty well, but whenever you start seeing the Core Breakers, it is pretty awkward. Once again, I decided to play out the zeros here basically. Since this basically beats my whole team, technically it can beat the whole team with Shadow Ball, Grass Knot, and of course it does very well against the Credillion. I decided, okay, we'll not let it farm us down. Technically, like, Trevenant is here to find things like Poly. I'm very patient with my energy, but I end up bringing the Icy Wind anyway. In comes Dugong. Now, in hindsight, I wonder should I have went for Scald here, because ice moves are very, very resisted here, whereas water moves are single resisted. So I do go for the Scald the second time around. I did want to debuff the opponent's attack. Had I went for Scald though and got the debuff off the Scald, that would have been best case. And also, in looking at it now, the opponent would actually be probably dead by now. They wouldn't be getting this last drill run off. So I think I should have just went double Scald and counters. I decided to swap out, clear my debuff, thinking Trevenant will come in. Go for a nasty farm down. In comes their own Poly, so this is looking a little bit tricky here. Does the opponent go straight for the Scald? We get to the move first here. Of course, it takes 8 counters to get to the first Scald. The opponent will shield up here. And I'm thinking, do I need to make a call? But I also think I just outpace even if they sort of do what they want to do. They come in with Trevenant. Oh, the one Incinerate does not take it out. And the opponent ends up getting off a Shadow Ball. This is rough, guys. I think we come in with our Dilly here. We do have some energy on the Poly. I was thinking I want to get like a Bullet Seed through, and maybe that'll help me take it out, but it's not really going to help that much. So that's why I decided to go for the farm down with the other thing. Also to keep some health on this so that I can maybe counter it a little bit, but it doesn't make a difference. Definitely some very rough core breakers, right? Poly does very well against Credillion and Skeledirge. Trevenant does very well against a lot of our team. Definitely a very, very rough team for us there. In the next one we have Swampert lead. Love this lead. Can't really complain too much. And in comes Stunfisk. Bro, just straight RPS for the win. Let's go. We take straight RPS for the win. I was tempted to go for the Icy Wind, but I decided at this point, okay, I'm going to let this Earthquake go. And I'm basically going to go for an overfarm. I decided to try and seed and pay them on 5. Because I thought the opponent might just try to chip us down and look to basically, you know, get a little bit of chip and then farm us down with whatever comes back in. If you're in that situation though, committing to the Earthquake means that I have to throw the energy. So they were definitely correct in committing to the Earthquake. In comes Swampert again, and yeah, Swampert's having a rough day here. Our friend Swambass here, he's going to get to almost back-to-back Hydros here. Yeah, and we're going to come back in with Dilly. I think he goes for the 1 and swap, so he just store it, and in comes Mantine. This is why I really like Credilli in this meta. It has a lot of great coverage. Rock Slide does not KO a Mantine, but it gets it really, really low. Bullet Seeds are neutral, of course, against the... I call the bait as well. The Ice Beam doesn't KO, so I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going to call the bait. No points getting too sort of scared about things. Now we're up 2 shields, so we're basically in the driving seat here. I can shield up early aces, even though this is, yeah, of course, going to be an early ace bait. I'm happy enough the opponent's not in Bubble Beam. That would definitely make this a little bit more awkward. The opponent is still switch locked here, so this is basically plain sailing at this point. Yeah, they don't even get off the next move. And guys, fun fact about these 2 Pokemon, they each have 162.2 attack. I had a situation earlier where I lost CMP to a Mantine. I've got a rank 7 Credilli. By the way guys, I'm not being lazy today, I'm actually putting my IVs on screen. So, you know, of course, drop a like for the IVs. A few people have mentioned it recently. But yeah, anyway, Credilli versus Mantine, very close CMP tie. I would have fought Credilli, won it easily. But in comes a Venusaur. What I decided to do is shield up the first move and get off 2 of these. And then basically look to try and go for like a sweep with Skelly. I decided to come in, eat the Frenzy Plant here. And once again, like, we're sort of a little bit weak to this Pokemon. Venusaur is quite good against Credilli and Poliwrath. So I decided to come in, try to get a free Incinerate for him, catch the Frenzy, and of course draw out something in the back. They come into Bastiodon, which, you know, very, very fun Pokemon, of course. But this puts us in a really interesting position now. Venusaur in the lead, Bastiodon in the back. Oftentimes it is something else weak to counter, and a lot of times it's double steal, Venusaur double steal. Very, very classic and a very well-known line. Now, if the opponent comes back in Venusaur, they're very, very low. They've taken so much damage from that 1 Incinerate plus the Rock Slide, and they end up shielding this here, and then they swap out to Stunfisk. So this is basically game over, folks. We're going to basically farm up to almost CMP tie and go for this move. And once again, guys, you know me, we go for unnecessary catches around here for the shits and giggles. We're going to eat the Earthquake on the Credilli, and basically look to Rock Slide the Venusaur when it comes back. Good games, well played. I knew that they couldn't farm me down, so like I knew it was a pretty safe safe sack swap there, but good games. You know, the way I like to think about it is, if you enjoy your wins as much as possible, losing is not as bad. In comes Skarmory lead, again, another negative lead. If you're going to try out this team, go straight into Poliwrath here, because you basically, I like to go for the overfarm here. You can go straight for the Icy Wind, but they don't have to shield it. I like to send, get a nice overfarm, and then perhaps go for an Icy Wind straight after. I decide to go for a big overfarm, and then I decide, okay, we're going to go for 1 Icy Wind here. The opponent shielded this earlier, or as a friend of mine would say, they shelled the move, and we're actually going to go for the CMP tie on this next one. Now, I think this call should just about KO here. Unfortunately, it doesn't, so we're going to have to double shield here. However, you would think that Skarmory as a flyer is probably one of the best answers for Poly, and they actually come into a Stunfisk. Now, you guys are going to see here that our switch timer comes back up just in the nick of time. The opponent stayed in against us for a long time, and now they've actually switch locked themselves. The opponent swapped straight out. If you're going to stay in for that length of time, you let your Pokemon go down. Especially if it's 1 HP, especially if you're misaligning the clocks by almost an entire minute, you just let your Pokemon go down. That means that they can basically stay in against Poly. If I swap, they swap, and it's a much more comfortable situation for them. Now we just basically take out their Pokemon, and as you can see, by the time we farm this down, our switch clock is almost back again. So basically what I can look to do, in comes Clodsire, they go for the Peekaboo play, it does not work. I was going to 1 and throw no matter what there, and yeah, this is basically game over, folks. The opponent was trying to catch the Grass Knot on the Skarmory, not going to happen, buddy. And we go for the Icy Wind immediately, just to basically debuff the attack. I'm going to go straight for another Icy Wind, because we're just debuffing this into Oblivion. We already comfortably live an Earthquake from here, but with the double Icy Wind, that basically guarantees it. The opponent has absolutely lost their mind here and stopped attacking. So what I decide to do is go for the perfect undercharge. Yeah, I think the opponent's actually closed their phone up now. We get the perfect undercharge so we can counter it once. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Like, that's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry, right? I'm a bad person. But rest assured, guys, bad things happen to bad people, and we've got yet another bad lead with Skarmory. We come into Poly. Like I said, we don't really mind Skarmory leads too much because Poly can really deal with it. And you would think, once again, that this is probably one of their best answers to Poly. We can actually deal with this with Poly and then see whatever's in the back, so I really don't mind the situation. Now, this opponent lets it through, and I decide to go straight for another Icy Wind here. I'm thinking the opponent, because we've debuffed the shit out of them, will go for a Brave Bird here, and I think the opponent actually plays this a little bit smarter this time. I think they actually allow us to counter them down. Oh no, they do swap out. So once again, guys, I'm not a huge fan of that play from the opponent, because you're misaligning the clocks by so much. Like, I've got my switch timer back. I'm going to basically let them throw on me here, and then look to come in with Credilli. Since we've got them debuffed, they're pretty much forced to throw because they don't want to get icy winded. But since we've got them debuffed, we can just get rid of this immediately. I think I do go for a slide over farm here. But by the time I take this out, they're still switch locked. So if they come back in with Skarmory, they're going to be locked into it. I can just incinerate them the whole way down. I just don't think that's a great play. Now, I've seen Dragonair, and I'm thinking it's probably Dragonite at this point. Yeah, they come into this. I'm going to come in and go for the Incinerate, but they actually do get the switch timer. We get the Incinerate through, and that's going to allow us to outpace, or so I thought. So I thought. They do get to these in 12 turns. We get to this in 15, so of course we don't outpace, but this should be basically game over nonetheless. We will take them out with Disarming Voice, go for the Incinerate on the Skarmory, and yeah, that's basically curtains for the opponent. Now, in this next game, I would not call it a super negative lead, but it's not exactly a positive one either. It's a Pokemon that we don't necessarily want to see in our backline. Sableye resists the counters from Poly. Of course, it's super effective to Skelly. It completely wrecks Skelly. So if I can get a shield advantage, or like get this quite low here, I'll be very happy with it. I get some laggy bubbles, which of course is always fantastic in this game, but I think that's actually working out a little bit better. That slight undercharge is going to make it that we can just counter them down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, actually, so yeah, we have to eat another move because this game's crap. Okay, cool. So that's fine. That's fine. We get an extra counter, I guess. In comes Azu. This is not great, guys. This is really not great. Azu basically beats both of our Pokemon here. So what we're going to do is basically debuff it a couple of times. And once again, I'm going to sort of showcase how strong Poly is. This is a very, very negative matchup here. I decided to go for 1 and catch because I'm assuming they're probably an Ice Beam and Play Rough. And we've double debuffed them at this point. Like guys, if you think of what the most common teams are, Sableye in the lead, Azu in the back, 9 out of 10 times, and a team that I showcased recently is Registeel. So I'm thinking, okay, this is 100% Registeel. I'm not shielding anything from Azu. I know they're just on Play Rough. I just refuse to believe they're on Hydro Pump at this point. I rightfully make the call and I'm thinking Poly's still healthy enough with 2 shields to take out Reggie. Now we get to this move at the last second. The game lags about 7,000 turns, but I do get off the move. I think that was Mechanic, the so-called new Mechanic, and in comes Skarmory. What I do is immediately debuff it. I've got 2 shields, right? What I need to do is just maximize my damage and minimize their damage. So I'm going to debuff them, which makes the resisted Steel Wings do all that much less damage. We're going to go for a Scald, which I think should take it out from here, and that's good games, guys. I really like that team. Very, very cool one. I do recommend checking it out. To be fair, today I run into a lot of bullshit teams that were just core breakers for me, so didn't have like the most amazing day with it, but I noticed that like even against bad teams, I was able to overcome counters quite a lot. And I think if you're looking for a good team, you don't really think about, oh, how well does this RPS the meta? The signature of a good team is something that can fight back against like bad leads and bad counters, and as you've seen from this video, this team definitely can, and it's probably why it has been the rank 1 team on Pvpoke. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. If you made it to the very end of the video, drop a like in the video, subscribe, and of course feel free to join our Discord community in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.